Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant News. Quite the drama as always in the North American Valorant scene last night, with NRG potentially the best North American Valorant team getting destroyed by Leviatan in a pretty close series last night. Artists not happy about their results, but Marved, given the fact that Sentinels, his new team, are playing NRG, his effectively old team, in next week's matches, wants to step into Sentinels' starting lineup to get his revenge on the roster. Will this happen? Will I let him do this? Very much enjoyed to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. First of all, we've got to talk about a couple of quick things. Just from Sassy, I believe we mentioned this kind of quickly yesterday, that they were really lacking a Sentinel on the roster. They wanted to try out Pancada on that role, and it seemed like Sassy to Controller, Pancada to Sentinel has kind of made sense for them. But given this is the case, does make it maybe slightly more complicated if Marved wants to step into the team in terms of what they actually do. Now, there have been some rumors, of course, because Zekken is so young, right? And Zekken, at some point, people have been saying, oh, well, when Zekken, like, graduates high school and stuff, or if he does have exams or whatever he's got to do, that might clash at some point. So maybe Marved will be needed. I don't know whether they're going to have yet, though, the Marved visa he needs to play, because to play in, like, an official setting like this, he will need a proper working visa, I guess. I don't know if necessarily Sentinels have got that sorted yet. A couple of days ago, they said they really hadn't. So, for now, Marved might not be able to come in, but that could get sorted over the coming days, and the story could very quickly change. Also, just to say, I did mention the other day that the Furia versus Crew game was not the highest viewed. I believe what happened here is that the viewership for the Sentinels 100 Thieves game right at the end was carried over to Furia Crew, because I guess Furia Crew had like a starting time of a certain time of day, and Sentinels 100 Thieves overran because it was the Kraken series, so that viewership number was counted for the Furia Crew game. Wasn't truly the case. So yeah, 407,000 peak for Sen 100T, Loud MIBR, Furia Crew, and then the game of yesterday, and also Cloud9 EG. Still some pretty good numbers, but we'll see how that series went just about now. So as Marv says, games, then watching my old Snake teammates, right? So obviously this is tongue-in-cheek to a certain degree. It does seem, we'll see him in a second, that Marv was somewhat, not exactly down bad, but he did seem somewhat sad for his roster getting absolutely blown out of the park on the final map of the series. We are seeing a lot of Pearl and Lotus though lately. It's got to be said on that one. These new maps are maybe coming good or not so good depending on your perspective. This also though was NRG's composition on Pearl. Interesting changes they made. Victor on the Viper, FNS on the Sky, Crashies on the Killjoy, and then Som on the Harbor, right, which is a pretty popular agent on this map, and we see Leviathan using him as well, and then Artis on the Raze. Now I will say that Artis used the Raze both maps this series, and there is a big talk right now around Artis and other players, even Cryo for example, about how good they are on the Raze, because to be a proper tier 1 duelist player, you need to be good at Raze. Raze is important on many maps, but a lot of these guys, for example Artis and Cryo maybe as well, are great on the Jet. They're very good on Jet, don't get me wrong, and they were incredible on the Chamber, right, when Chamber was meta, but now Chamber is dead. These guys have to be good at both Raze and Jet, and Jet I think is, I'm not surprised that NA isn't going for more Jet in a way, because I think that these guys at times are straight up better on Jet, and it is still viable. But yeah, some of the plays we're seeing lately on the Raze from Artis and co haven't been, let's just say, awe-inspiring, and there are some questions to be had about that. So I just wanted to share here some reaction here. NRG started off quite well, he had a 1v2 here, FNS at the start of this game, 50 HP, up 3-1 already, and after he won this, I'm sure they were thinking, wow, this is, in a good position, NRG, to close out this series, or close out this map at least, and then see how it goes from there, because Leviathan were great at the Major, or not the Major, the Sao Paulo lock-in event at the start of the year, and Som said on stream that, these guys might well be the best team that he's actually played against. So FNS gets one, and he locks down it as well after Shy decides to go for the Chow, and FNS is in good position. So yeah, interesting play from Shy, didn't work out for him though, and FNS gets the job done. So we know Leviathan are good, but they started off well NRG here, but after they lost the game one in very close fashion, they got blown out on the Lotus.
Okay, thunder, bro. I love you, Jimmy.
Leviatan marching
It's not
towards
over.
their mother right now. Asuna with a shorty. With no
You
chance.
honestly,
Talk
about
how
it's not over.
You should cancel the bet, because they're your boys, you know?
This is
Yeah,
it.
Ryan, it's her boys. You should not take money from that bet. Low
Nah,
key.
take one out for I think I will.
And really, any win.
Can we talk about how it's not over and Sam Can he do this?
Nah.
I don't.
Good.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Well
I
played,
don't
guys.
think he can. Through the nanos. Through
Oh,
the
he had the
spam.
glitch too to
Does
defuse. I
not
saw that on
matter. Once
TikTok.
again, a statement.
Wait, yeah,
Out
Sam
from
put his head
Leviatan. They
down.
don't just take him down. They take him down in a sweep.
How
13
are we
to
gonna
4 to
fix
close.
this? What's going on?
Said, how are we gonna fix this team?
Not even a lick of
Jimmy
coke
sent me
there as
15
well.
gifted.
It is very challenging to make NRG look entirely clueless, but Leviathan managed it this map. So very impressive performance, 13-4 on the Lotus, and that actually leaves NRG bottom of the league right now, because in terms of map counter differential, round count differential, they are the lowest in the entire league after getting destroyed here. So King, what a player this guy is as well, a 1.46 rating, 35-18. Map 1 was 13-11. NRG had a good start to that half, and it ended still in a decent manner. 6-6, they would have felt like they were okay there. And then it went up 9-6, then 10-8. I'm sure they would have felt good about at least making it to overtime, but that wasn't the case. And Leviathan closed out this map, and then the second game was not even close, 13-4. This was a rough game as well from Crashies and Ardis. These guys were stuck on 0 kills for quite some time, and eventually, I mean, look, fundamentally, you're not going to have bad series out of Ardis and Crashies that often, right? I mean, Crashies isn't going to have a series like this every time, neither is Ardis. So, you know, theoretically, if they play at their normal level, this series would have been more competitive. And I think that NRG still arguably might be the best North American team. But right now, the Americas is looking like the South Americas, because they're definitely, there's teams from South America are doing the damage on the NA teams at the moment. And even the Sentinels say, what time does NRG play, right? So just throwing fun at them because, I mean, yeah, they didn't really come to play. That's got to be said, especially in that map 2 of the series. And even Leviathan poking fun, they say NRG's best plays on Lotus. And yeah, thanks for watching. GG, that was it. No highlights at all for them. So what does Marv think about this, right? Because now he's on Sentinels, officially that is his team, but I'm sure that he still feels, you know, he's partly joking around, right? He's still, I'm sure, good friends with FNS and Crashies and Victor and those guys that came from his former OpTic team. But as Marv says, I want NRG next week at Sentinels, because NRG, maybe they're struggling against Leviathan. Marv wants to take them down, get revenge in some way. Now, in fairness, FNS did have a good comeback here and says, look, come to LA with a sign that says FNS my daddy, ask your org for a ticket and sit in the crowd cheering for the man who created you. So pretty good comeback, I thought, here from FNS, but nonetheless, he did lose the series. Marv currently undefeated in the North American VCT because he hasn't played any series, but you know, I do wonder if he is going to have the chance to step in at some point or another. It would be very interesting to see. I don't expect it to happen, but this will be an interesting series because NRG are still potentially the best NA team in the franchise ecosystem in the Americas, and Sentinels, though they beat 100 Thieves, that puts them in a decent spot as well. Like, if you think about the 5 NA teams, 100 Thieves, Sentinels, Cloud9, Evil Geniuses, and then, of course, you know, NRG, I think that it's between Sentinels and NRG right now to probably be number 1, based on what we have seen so far. As Psycho says, you got us, book the flight. So, yeah, that would be very exciting if that could actually happen. I doubt it will happen, but it would be interesting nonetheless. And NRG are then poking fun back and saying, okay, we lost to Leviathan, whatever, but at least we play Sentinels next week to kind of get a quick victory on the board. What do you guys think about that performance from NRG, right? Because they were good really at the major. They're always going to be better on LAN than online, and I think they're all, and of course this was on LAN, but I think they're generally better in pressure moments, right? When it comes down to an actual tournament setting, NRG are probably going to be a better team than they would be in this setting, but still, and Leviathan might just be one of the best teams in the entire world. I think that they are. I was surprised they didn't make it as far as I thought they would in the Sao Paulo event, but yeah, in this series they really came to play, especially on the map too. Now, I will say as well, there was some drama going around about Ardis here, and you can understand why. Just because Ardis versus Brazil has been a bit of a talking point lately. You guys remember at the major when Ardis kind of suggested that one of the Brazilian guys was telling their strats to the team they were about to play in loud. So, you know, a bit spicy. So Noyan actually tweets out here, effectively, so this means catfish of the week is what this translates to. And so he kind of puts in some players, Klaus, FRS, Crashies, and knowing full well that Ardis will get the votes to be effectively the worst player of the week is what he's going for. So some good impression farming, got a lot of votes. Ardis, of course, won, and then he goes on to tweet out, you know, basically catfish of the week, it's Ardis. So he makes an entire graphic here with the crowd like King Catfish of the Week, and here's NRG Ardis, 0.63 KD. So pretty funny, it's got to be said, that Brazil are kind of getting their own back to a certain regard here on Ardis after the drama that happened with him not that long ago. But whatever, right? Ardis, I'm sure, can take it, and fundamentally, he's just got to play better on the Rays. So that's just how it is as far as I'm concerned, because yeah, there's a lot of duelist players that were killing it on the Chamber, and Chamber was just so good that maybe there's a chance that some of these guys, when it comes to playing a consistent level between Jet and between Rays on the duelist, that it's not always going to work out so well. Now, Artis actually was joking around about this and says, I think Riot was leaking our VODs to Leviathan because that was the initial start of the drama, and even as Artis says, I'm trolling, guys, for anyone who doesn't understand sarcasm. So obviously he was just joking around, but still pretty funny. So these are the 5 games going on next week, and this is where the NRG Sentinels comes into play. So Cloud9 Loud, Leviatan Furia, NRG Sentinels, MIBR Crew, and then EG 100 Thieves. They're very interesting games, but I will say the pick of the bunch is probably this NRG Sentinels series in the middle of the week, especially because Sentinels 1-0. Yes, they're the lowest of the teams so far because their round count differential was so tiny against 100 Thieves. They still, though, won the series. MIBR, EG, Crew, and NRG. So I'm expecting that probably MIBR, EG, Crew, I don't expect them to be that high up, but considering already here Leviathan, you know, Loud, Sentinels are up top, like, it's very interesting how this is developing already, especially with NRG right at the bottom. And if NRG were to lose to Sentinels next week, if Marved is there or not, that's a 2-0 start for Sentinels, 0-2 for NRG, and that's not looking good at all, ready for their potential to make it to Masters. So they've got to turn it around very quickly indeed, but very much enjoyed to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.